So we keep hearing about all this money BP is paying for the Gulf oil spill. How's that going to work?
Well, first we should talk a little bit about how we got here. Back in 2010, BP and some other companies spilled more than 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. 11 rig workers died in the explosion, and thousands of miles of coastland were oiled. Now, because of this, they're going to have to pay a whole lot of fine money to the government.
How much?
We don't actually know yet. A federal judge in Louisiana still has to set the final amount, but because he ruled the company was grossly negligent, BP's fine could be up to $18 billion. So with that much money, you could buy the Dodgers 9 times. You could take 9 flights into outer space. You could buy a few private islands. You could pay for all of NASA's budget, buy 90,000 luxury Bentleys, or an infinite number of Robert Bentleys, since he doesn't take a salary.
So where does this money go? And how does it affect me?
Well, when the spill happened, the fine money would have just gone to the government, and they could have done whatever they wanted with it. Could pay off some debt to China, maybe build a higher wall in Texas, whatever. But in 2011, after the spill, Congress passed the Restore Act, which states that most of the fine money has to go to the 5 states in the Gulf region to help restore the ecosystem.
How does that money get handed out?
By a bunch of people thrown together in a room who may or may not have ever worked together before. So basically, a group full of officials pulled from state and federal governments get to play Oprah with a few $1 billion. You get a grant! You get a grant! You get a grant! Which is weird to think about, but it's also the largest disbursement of conservation funding we're probably ever going to see in our lifetime, so there's a lot of pressure to get it right.
What can it buy or not buy?
So 20% of the Clean Water Act fine money is going to a trust fund to help clean up future oil spills. Out of the rest, 30% is dedicated to Gulf-wide ecosystem restoration projects, and that's administered by a federal council. The rest is going to be awarded either by the state or federal councils for ecosystem restoration, economic projects, or infrastructure projects. And there are also some smaller amounts dedicated to research and monitoring of the Gulf. In Alabama, we could rebuild Dauphin Island, we could raise the causeway. Unless the courts say we can't, we're probably going to rebuild the Gulf State Park Convention Center. That's one of the economic projects. Habitat construction doesn't include habitat for tourists.
How long will that take?
Years and years. And years. Years.
Can I get some of the money?
If you have a restoration project, you can submit it to the state web portal. But if you just want to build a turtle farm, probably not. So there you have it. A really big pile of money coming from an even bigger corporation. It's going to be Oprah'd out over the next several years. Got it?